Udilo aruna purababage Dvija mani gora mani jage Udilo aruna purababage Dvija mani gora mani jage Bhakata samuha loya sate gela nagara braje tathai tathai bajalako Gana gana tahe jajeraro Preme jala jala sonaranga Charane nupura braje Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari Bole na bolo re vadana bori Micheni dabashe gelore rati Divasa sharira saje Emona dulaba manavadeho Payaki koro bhavana keho Ebena bhajile Yashoda Suta Charame pori belaje Emona dulaba manava deho Payaki koro bhavana keho Ebena bhajile Yashoda Suta Charame pori belaje Udita tapana hoile asta dinagelo bole hoi bebyasta tabe ke no ebe alasa hoy nabajari daya raje Jivana nitya jana hasa tahe nana vida vipada bhar. Namashraya kori jatane tumi takapana kaje. Jivera kalyana sadanakam jagate asiye maduranam. Avidyati mira tapana rupe hridagagane biraje. Krishna nam sudha kori apan jurao bhakati vinoda pran. Nama bina kichu ahi ko aro chauda bhuvana maje. Jeev jago Gora Chandra bole. Kota nidra jao maya Vishachira kole. Baji boliya aise samsara bitare. Boliya rohile tumi avidya rabare. Tomare loite ami hoinu avatara. Ami bina bandhuar ke ache tomara. Enechi aushadhi maya nasibaro lage. Harinama maha mantra lao tumi magi. Bhakti vinoda Prabhu charane poriya. Say Hare Nama mantra loilo magiya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vipassana. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Pasa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jayam Vishwapad Brahmamsa Parijagacharya Astottara Shata Shri Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishwapad Paramhamsa Parijagacharya Astottara Shata Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Grantharaj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, The Advent of Lord Krishna. Introduction. Text 52. evam vimrishya tattam papam yavad atmani darshanam pujayam asavai shaurir bahumana parasaram evam vimrishyatam papam yavad atmani darshanam pujayam asavai shaurir bahumana purasaram evam vimrishyatam papam yavad atmani darshanam pujayam asavai shaurir bahumana parasaram. Matajis. Word to word translation. Evam, in this way. Vimrishya, after contemplating. Tam, unto Kamsa. Papam, the most sinful. Yavat, as far as possible. Atmanidarshanam, with all the intelligence possible within himself. Pujayam, asa, praised. Vai, indeed. Shauri, Vasudev. Bahumana, offering all respect. Parasaram, before him. Translation. After thus considering the matter as far as his knowledge would allow, Vasudev submitted his proposal to the sinful Kamsa with great respect. Since there is no purport, we'll read the next text, 53. Prasanna vadana bojo nrisham sam nira patrapam manasa duyamanena vihasan idam abravit. Translation. Vasudev's mind was full of anxiety because his wife was facing danger. But in order to please the cruel, shameless, and sinful Kamsa, he externally smiled and spoke to him as follows. Purport. Sometimes one must act duplicitously in a dangerous position, as Vasudeva did, to save his wife. The material world is complicated, and to execute one's duties, one cannot avoid adopting such diplomacy. Vasudeva did everything possible to save his wife, for the sake of begetting Krishna. This indicates that one may act duplicitously for the purpose of saving Krishna and his interests. According to the arrangement already foretold, Krishna was to appear through Vasudeva and Devaki to kill Kamsa. Vasudeva therefore had to do everything to save the situation. Although all the events were pre-arranged by Krishna, a devotee must try his best to serve the purpose of Krishna. Krishna himself is all-powerful, but it is not that a devotee should therefore sit idly and leave everything to him. This instruction is also found in Bhagavad Gita. Although Krishna was doing everything for Arjuna, Arjuna never sat down idly as a non-violent gentleman. Rather, he tried his best to fight the battle and be victorious. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is the continuation of the pastime where Devaki is facing a danger and Vasudeva is going to try and act in such a way so they can save the situation for Devaki. And after the last two classes, the devotees have been explaining how Vasudeva have been trying different means to protect Devaki, and after trying all the different techniques, different ways, and when nothing seemed to work, then now Vasudeva has come to this final point where he's going to suggest something to Kamsa that would actually work. And here in this purport, Prabhupada is giving a very interesting insight into the actions of pure devotees. So the pure devotees act in a very instructive way, and everything that they do has a great and deep meaning to it. So here we can see the actions of Vasudeva, that where he considered the matter as far as his knowledge allowed, and then he proposed something to Kamsa with great respect. And even though he was in full of anxiety, externally he smiled and said something with great respect to King Kamsa. So here Prabhupada is explaining how sometimes one has to act in a duplicitous way to get something done for a higher purpose. We know the example from Mahabharata that Yudhishthira Maharaj was also similarly asked to act. You know, Yudhishthira Maharaj was known to never lie, but he was asked by Krishna himself that you must lie. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was apprehensive about it. And he was saying that I'm always known for my morality and for my moral activities, because after all, he's the son of Yamaraj. And he was known, Yudhishthira Maharaj was known for always speaking the truth. But at that particular point, he got somewhat bewildered by this morality, and he actually forgot the higher purpose. And what is that higher purpose? Is to act what may please Krishna. So that is the highest morality. Doing what will please Krishna. Because after all, Krishna is the source of all the dharma. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So actually all the dharma, all the codes of religious action are coming from Krishna. And now Krishna is telling you to do something, then that is the highest dharma. Then what's the use of being so-called materially or morally truthful or straightforward or honest, whatever? Here Krishna is asking you to do something, you just do it. And that is the highest morality. That is the highest religion. And so Yudhishthira Maharaj was eventually convinced, and he did what Krishna had asked him to. And even though sometimes mundane moralists, they say that Yudhishthira Maharaj, whose chariot never touched the earth planet, finally ended up touching the earth because he lied. But actually that's not true. Actually, his chariot touched the ground because he opposed the will of Krishna. And because of that, to come down. So actually the codes of religion are what will please Krishna. And for us also, how do we know we're pleasing Krishna? Is we try to please our spiritual masters, our initiating guru, but more specifically our shiksha gurus, our mentors, our teachers, our spiritual authorities who are guiding us on a daily basis. So by pleasing them, we know for sure that we are pleasing Krishna. So here, Vasudeva is acting in morally, if you say from mundane morality point of view, he's acting in a duplicitous way. Why? Prabhupada is explaining here. Is because for the purpose of saving Krishna and his interest. So that's very interesting, actually, that at what point one is allowed to act in so-called morally improper way, and when one should be acting properly. So this is a question, but one thing that one has to understand, that we all have to understand, is that actually all of us have to act in a way that will please Krishna and that will satisfy his interest. That is the most important thing. That's the principle with which we always act. We are not the mundane moralists who simply try to understand all the moral codes and try to understand all the scriptures and all the religious codes and from Manu Samhita and from this and that, and exactly act according to that. No, we try to find out what will please Krishna and what will please Guru, and we just act according to that. That in that way, if one understands what will please them, then that's perfection of our life. So here there is a very interesting point, something that yesterday Gopalandas Prabhu also spoke about, and that is about how it was already foretold the 8th son of Devaki would kill Kamsa. But still, Vasudeva is here trying to protect the life of Devaki, and is doing everything that he can to protect the life of Devaki, even though he knows that actually Devaki's 8th son is going to kill Kamsa. How will she get 8th son if she's not going to stay alive? So obviously she's going to stay alive, and obviously she's going to live long enough to give 8th child. But still, Vasudeva is not going to sit idly. Vasudeva is not going to just try once and say, okay, I tried something at least, like, I tried, what can I do, If anyone asks me, I can at least tell, okay, I tried something. But no, not good enough. Vasudeva is trying, and is constantly trying, and is thinking and scheming, is planning, is using his intelligence to plan very, very deeply. And is, in the previous verse also, he's saying that he's considering the matter as far as his knowledge is going to allow. So, in our life, in our situation, we have many times difficulties. And many times devotees say, oh, it's maybe Krishna's will. Maybe I tried everything that I can think of. So now whatever happens, Krishna's will. But no, one has to act, one has to keep trying. And one cannot give up. One cannot just raise the hand and say, okay, I've done everything I can. No, one has to keep trying. One has to keep planning, keep thinking, take guidance. When your intelligence doesn't allow, you can borrow the intelligence. Ask people who are more intelligent than you. And ask them, what can you do? I've tried so far this and that. Doesn't work. What else can I do? Is there anything more? Did I miss something? So in that way, we can keep trying to do what is required. And then what happens? That's Krishna's mercy. But you can't just try once and okay, now it's Krishna's mercy. No, that's not allowed. So here Prabhupada gives an example of Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada mentions this point so many times that even though Krishna spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and Krishna actually showed his universal form, and Krishna actually showed how all these kings, all these great warriors are entering into his mouth. And Arjuna is seeing that all these great warriors, they're just entering into your mouth, they're getting stuck between the teeth, and they're all dying. And so they're all going to die by Krishna. So now, after the whole Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna should feel, okay, now looks like it's all sorted, I don't have to work so hard. No more karma, no more, all the anxiety that he had about for not fighting in killing his own kinsmen. So now Arjuna can say, okay, so now I don't need to fight. But no, actually Arjuna understood that I need to act what will please Krishna. And after that, what happens? That's Krishna's will. So that's why we have the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, nectar of devotion, and Prabhupada translates devotion in that is that a practical action, doing something for the pleasure of Krishna. So one has to do not just something, but one has to keep trying and keep doing what will please Krishna. So we know also in the case of Prabhupada that in the Vedic times when the child is born, then there is an astrological reading for the child of what the child would do in the future. And so when Gaur Mohan De, Prabhupada's father, Prabhupada's mother, when they did the astrological reading for Prabhupada, then the astrologer told that, wow, this is an amazing son. At the age of 70, he would cross the oceans, he will go to other part of the world, and he'll open centers, Krishna conscious temples. And he will have thousands of followers. And he will teach the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita to the rest of the world. So it was known, of course, to Prabhupada's parents, it was known to Prabhupada. Prabhupada did not just sit idly. Okay, now the temples are going to open, we'll just see how that all happens while I just sit here, try and manage my pharmaceutical business. No, Prabhupada tried, and we know, practically speaking, we don't have many examples like Prabhupada of how much effort that he put in to teach and to preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. One time Prabhupada told his disciples, he said, I didn't leave a single stone unturned. He said, I've done everything. He preached to the politicians, sent them letters, tried to meet up, arrange personal meetings. He tried to open He tried to establish his pharmaceutical business so he can have enough money so he can go to the West. Did not work. He said, okay, I'll open a Krishna conscious society and I'll try to get some followers, I'll try to get some disciples. And then with their help, I will go out because I'll need some help. Did not succeed. So he tried different ways. Okay, I'll take help from my god brothers. Did not work. It's okay, I'll have to take. So then when his spiritual master, how he came in the dreams and how he instructed again and again, and finally Prabhupada took sannyas. He was trying to get help from so many places. And nobody was ready to help him. And how it's also mentioned that there's so many times when Prabhupada would go to places, like, when Madhukari, when in Babaji's or devotees in Vrindavan, sannyasis would do the Madhukari and would go and beg a little bit of food from everywhere. Prabhupada would go to houses and he would say, don't give me food, give me a pen and paper, because I need to write. I need to write books. And Prabhupada was so emphatic on writing books so that he can print them, he can publish them, he can distribute them, because he knew that that's what's going to conquer the world. That's what his spiritual master had told him, that if you get any money, print books. So Prabhupada was constantly working, and so he was ready to sacrifice his meals. He was ready to not eat so that he can write books, so that he can preach, so that he can publish books, he can go to the West, he can preach, and fulfill the prophecy that's somewhat already destined, But he was ready to work, and he was ready to work so hard for it. Same for Arjuna here in the case of, here in the purport, it's how it's mentioned. So Arjuna has to work really hard in the battlefield. And it's not that now that Krishna is by his side, he's behind Krishna, that not a single arrow will touch him, and that he will always remain like clean and dry and unharmed. No, Arjuna was taking all the arrows and attacks and going through so much of pain for so many days. And even after following all the instructions, trying to do what will please Krishna, still there was so much of difficulties that he had to go through. Lose his family members, lose his own son, and go through a lot of reversals. But again, that's a test of a devotee, is how much we are ready to sacrifice to please Krishna and to serve his interest. So here in the case of Vasudeva also, is ready to really try his best to serve Krishna's interest. And that really shows the sincerity of a devotee, is how much he's ready to sacrifice for Krishna's pleasure, for the pleasure of his spiritual master. That really shows his level of faith in Guru and Krishna. So, even though it's destined, still one has to act. In the same way, how we can see we had an amazing marathon, and we had lots of devotees distribute books. So even though it is destined that Mahaprabhu has said that my name will be chanted in every town, village. So it's already destined, it's already confirmed, it will happen for sure. But still devotees are ready to work hard to fulfill that mission of Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's this nice pastime that one time, this was trying to remember. There was this, this is in the before Prabhupada went to the West, and And yeah, and then they used to, before Prabhupada went to the West, and he was in India, and he would go to different bhakti vrikshas, and he would be preaching there. There would be different places that he would go and preach there. And I'm trying to remember the pastime. It's really, really amazing how shows Prabhupada's level of faith in the holy name. And yes, so Prabhupada used to go to these bhakti vrikshas, and he used to actually preach. And there, you'll have to excuse me for the details. But then there is, then Prabhupada was always determined that he would write books, and he would go to the West and he would preach. And then he would go and he would preach every time. And then one time, and anyway, one time then he sort of stopped going, and then some of the devotees were wondering where did he go and what happened. And so many years later, one of the devotees who were distributing books somewhere in the West, and some of these Western devotees who came back to India, and then they met this devotee who used to go to these Bhakti Vriksha programs as well, where Prabhupada used to preach. And when he met them, and he asked them that, you are white devotees, white people, but you are chanting Hare Krishna, you don't, obviously not from India. And so what happened? And so these devotees, they explained how that they are actually the disciples of Bhaktivedanta Swami or Prabhupada. And then this person actually jumped out and said, "Oh, Bhaktivedanta Swami." He said, he did it. And so these devotees were all surprised. They said, why? And this devotee mentions how that even when he was in India, and he was telling that even he was so old, and even though he was so frail, and he was still saying that my spiritual master is instructed that I need to go to the West, I need to preach, I need to distribute books. And so it will happen. And he was so convinced, but then obviously everyone else was thinking like, he's already so old, and how is that going to happen? And it's probably a wishful thinking, it's probably being optimistic, but maybe a little too much. But then when they finally saw, then he said, yes, he said, he did it actually. So that devotee was so happy and is impressed that, yes, that's a level of faith that Prabhupada had, that even though there were so many challenges, that he still pushed through, and he still actually did what was asked of him from his spiritual master. And in that way he fulfilled what was already prophesied, but he had to work hard for it. So in the same way, for us devotees also, we act in a way that will please. We'll act in a way that will please Krishna, and that will serve his interests. And one of the interests that we are all trying to serve is Mahaprabhu's words that my name would be chanted in every town and village. So that's why we are traveling, and we are traveling in every town and village. And even if we are not traveling, our books are traveling in every town and village. That's why Prabhupada called it, Bhaktisiddhanta called it, the Brihad Mridanga, because the sound of Mridanga can be heard in the neighbors. Neighbors complain, the Mridanga sound. So that obviously means that it's heard. But people on the other side of the Karford Road, they're not complaining. That means our Mridangas are not loud enough. So But if we distribute books, then they will go. They will go across the road, they will go across the suburb, across the city, across the state, across the countries. And we know how these books are reaching all these different places. This one, there's the people that we have met who are from these Middle Eastern countries, people who are from communist countries, and people who received these books here in Melbourne or in different parts of the world. And then they went to those countries, and they probably didn't even know what the books were about. They took it with them, and then they went to the countries, and they will eventually read them. But imagine, like, for us as devotees to go there, to those places, is strictly prohibited. There'll be so much of supervision and so many challenges. But these books are reaching in all these places, and people actually benefited in ways that we may not even know. So we know for sure that the benefit is there. This one, actually Nityananda Prabhu from the temple shop, he was telling this story of someone called up, one Russian lady called him up, and he was saying, "Thank you so much for giving me the book." And it's Nityananda Prabhu from the shop, and he says, "Thank you for giving me the book?" He said, "I haven't distributed book in like 30 years. So this lady, so he asked the lady, "How old are you?" And she said, "I'm like 20 something, 24, 22, something like that." He said, "You're 20? He said, "But I haven't distributed in 30 years. He said, "Probably not me, you have some misunderstanding." He said, No, that's you." And so this lady is asking, and so the Prabhu is asking, how did I distribute it? He said, "Well, actually," he said, "I was always very inclined to Krishna consciousness. Even my parents are not devotees or anything like that, but or maybe they're devotees, I can't remember. But anyway, she grew up in a very pious household, and she was very naturally attracted to Krishna consciousness, and she took up the process, she took the Bhagavad Gita, she started reading it. And so, just out of curiosity, she wanted to find out, like, the past life, what she was in the past life, and how did it end up to where she is right now. And she did her past life regression, and she lived like she did not live a pious life, let's put it this way. She was in Australia, she was living in Melbourne. And so she was curious. She's like, okay, I did not live a very pious life. I didn't really do anything spiritual. How am I that I'm getting this opportunity right now? So then she found out that one day she was walking around in the Swanston Street or somewhere in Melbourne, and she was approached by a devotee, and she was given a book, and she appreciated the book. She took the book, she gave a donation, and she left. So now this lady, or now Russian lady, so she's really curious. Who was that person? I really want to find out who was that person. So then they got the description, and based on the description, she tried to find out who was the person, everything. And then finally, like, through contacts, through people in there, and they finally found out somehow that was Nityananda Prabhu of the shop. So she called him up and said, "Thank you for giving me the book, because that was the only good thing that I did in my whole life." And that now I have the opportunity to continue my Krishna conscious practice. So when we are traveling in all these country towns, and most of the books that we distribute are to people who are above 60s and 70s and 80s. So some of those may come around in our devotee families, and continue the process from there. So this is the impact that we create in book distribution, and that means we have to put in some effort. That means we have to take some hard work, and here is that how Vasudeva is saying that sometimes Prabhupada is explaining how one has to act in a so-called immoral way to serve Krishna and his purpose. So as distributors, as servants of Krishna, sometimes we also act in a way We sometimes, as devotees, do we trick people? Yes, we do. We go out to them and say, "Sir, amazing hairstyle." So we don't care less about the hairstyle, but we say, "Okay, this cool hairstyle," We say, "Wow, like you have an amazing presentation skill." And they say, "Really? Thank you." I say, "Yes." So they said, "This is the book for all these cool-looking people." I say, "Oh, really? Thank you." So they take it. Now, someone who is watching, they may say, "Oh, you say that to everyone." I say, No, I don't say that to everyone. Only for some people. Only for the people who actually have the cool hairstyle. And so as devotees, we flatter people sometimes. What to do? We have to. And again, I was, for me personally, there was just a bit artificial. I didn't feel like I can do it. But I was talking with Prabhu, and he was saying that, "No, so you have to do it." I said, "But Prabhu, it's not my nature. Like, I can't just go and flatter people. I really feel like I'm lying. I feel like I'm not saying the truth. I don't like the hairstyle, and it's not really, and I don't even care about it." And then they say, "No, you have to say that." I said, "You have to say that because I'm asking you to." And he said, "Why am I asking you to?" Because it's bona fide. He says, "It's approved." He says, "Not just you are doing it," he said, "I also do it." He said, "Not only I did it, Prabhupada also did it." He said, "Prabhupada also flattered people." He said, "You are such a gentleman. You are such a nice person." He said, "Now you should donate this temple." "You should donate this building for the good cause." He said, "You are such an intelligent person. You know what we are trying to do. We are trying to do for a nice cause. So you please give it to us." So in that way, Prabhupada would also flatter. It's approved. Acharyas have also done it. So you do it. And you do it even if you don't feel like it. He said, "You do it and you see how it works, and then you'll be okay to do it." So that's approved. It's approved. And here we can see how Vasudeva is also doing it. So that's approved by devotees who are trying to share this message of Krishna to others. That sometimes we do things which are socially, morally, conventionally unacceptable. But we do it because there is a higher purpose in mind. And even though people might not appreciate it right then and there, they would eventually appreciate the sincerity that devotees have in actually wanting to help people. Just like sometimes mother gives a bitter medicine to the child, but with, Prabhupada said, would wrap up in a sugar candy. Or I don't know what the current techniques are, mothers may know, of or how do they give the bitter medicine to the children. But yes, there are somehow or other, you sugarcoat it and you give it, and the child will eat it. But you give it as it is, and then they will not like it. So it's approved that we can do it, and we do it, and as Prabhupada was saying, we should do it. Do it. He said, give it out. He said, otherwise people will not accept. So we need to be efficient. We need to be productive in our outreach. We can't just, at least I went there and I tried. No, not good enough. Even though Arjuna was going to be protected by Krishna in the battlefield, Arjuna still went out and he still learned all the skills. He went to all these demigods and acquired all these weapons. He did all this, like some of the most far out, amazing austerities. Even as a pure devotee of Krishna, he did all these austerities to acquire the skills, the weapons, the tools required to make sure that he wins the battle. Even though it was completely assured that he would win, because Krishna is going to be in his side. He's a pure devotee. His brother is a pure devotee. His elder brother is a pure devotee. His younger brother is a pure devotee. His father is a pure devotee. His mother is a pure devotee. Everyone is a pure devotee. and they are all going to be in one side along with all the pious kings. Krishna is personally present there, and still, no, I need to acquire. So as devotees, we also learn the ways of sharing this Krishna consciousness with others. We learn the techniques. We acquire the necessary tools to help us share this message with others, to be most efficient, to be most productive. And after doing everything that we possibly can within our scope, within our knowledge, within our influence, when you know for sure that you have done everything that you can, then what happens? That's Krishna's will. That you have no influence over. After everything, if still something goes wrong, then you know that was karma. Then you know that was beyond you, and that's Krishna's desire. And you accept that, you learn from that, you move on. You don't get hung up there. But this philosophy that everything is Krishna's will and that everything happens by Krishna's desire is by no means to make any of us idle or lazy. That's not the idea of this philosophy. That's not the idea of this knowledge. And that's why Prabhupada very much emphasized this point of devotional service. That there's action, there's service, there's practical action. You have to use your body, you have to use your mind, you have to use your intelligence, you have to engage all your resources that you have been given by Krishna. To use that for serving the interest, his devotee's interest, and then wait and watch, see what happens, see what Krishna has in plan for each one of us. So with that, I'll finish. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Any corrections or any comments or questions?
Thank you for the nice class, Prabhu. So Prabhu, you mentioned that whatever we do should be pleasing to Lord Krishna. So Prabhu, we know that our services cannot be judged by our results, as we see in book distribution.
Our services are?
Our services cannot be judged by the results that we get. So we see that in book distribution as well. So is it not that every service we do achieves success? Because our service cannot be judged by the results. So if they're not judged by the results, how do we know that Krishna is pleased by the service we've done?
Well, our services are never judged. So Krishna appreciates the attempt. And I have seen many spiritual masters who sometimes don't acknowledge this, big distributors. But they acknowledge these distributors who distribute like 2 or 3 books or one Bhagavatam set, and they say, oh, really? You distribute one Bhagavatam? Where did you go? And how did you distribute? And whom did you give it to? And they want to know everything. While this devotee who went out there and worked so hard and distributed so many Bhagavatam, and he wouldn't, okay. So Krishna consciousness is transcendental to our moral conceptions and calculations. At the same time, what we know for sure, that if we have put in all the attempt, like if we have put in all this effort, if we have worked all throughout the year to actually train ourselves to be, let's say if we are talking about the book distribution, to be the best distributor. If we have trained ourselves, we learn from the trained people, learn from the best people, learned our best mantras, best lines, chanted the best rounds, read Prabhupada books, if we have understood what's in them, we understood Prabhupada's desires, we are listening to lectures, we are doing it every day, consistently, and then we're going out, we're putting in the hours on the street, putting in the effort, and after that, if nothing goes, what can you do? That's Krishna's desire. But if we haven't put in that effort, and then we go out and then we say it's Krishna's desire, well, yes, that in some way it's still Krishna's desire, but we can do better. And so, again, it's not the question of being judged, but it's the question of wanting to please Krishna more. So that's the reason why, as devotees, we are always striving to improve. As devotees, we are always striving to grow. So for many of us, like after having an amazing marathon, distributing whatever number of books we did, everyone is planning, how can I do more next time? Where could I have improved? Oh yes, I wasted a lot of time there. Or if I had learned that would have saved some time, that would have helped me be more productive on streets, whatever. So in that way, we are planning, we are scheming, we are organizing, we are sharpening ourselves. So we are doing all of that to improve our service. So we are not so much worried about being judged by others. Of course, Krishna appreciates, devotees appreciate our service and our efforts, and everyone gets a gift who tried. At the same time, our idea is that how can I really, really do the best? How can I really serve Krishna the most? And that's really in the back of the mind of a sincere devotee. That's what if we are not there yet, then that's what we aspire for. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Granth Raj, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.